Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are and what time of day it is when you watch this video. My name is Z, and welcome back to my gaming corner. In this update for 2024, this will give me a chance to tell you about what happened during 2023, and let me tell you, 2023 was one of the worst years of my life. It wasn't as bad as when my fiance died or one of my other friends died and I lost my entire social circle. It wasn't as bad as that. But if you remember from last year's update when Mom was diagnosed with cancer, this year has been a royal struggle. Back at the end of 2022, I had to sacrifice my career and stay at home and be my mom's caregiver, and then the cancer diagnosis came, and now she's on hospice, and we have nurses that come to the house, and there's a chaplain that comes to the house now, and it's just really hard. And it started out as just being home health in January after the cancer diagnosis. Mom got home from the hospital, and then she went back on home health, and our regular nurse was Brittany, who always came to the house. But when she was on home health the first time, she came back to the house, and she was amazing. And then she got an offer to go start up a new company with one of her other associates. And so she stopped coming to the house, and she wasn't our nurse anymore. And there was a time in April and May when we were wondering, are we going to have to find a new home health company, or are we going to have to figure something else out? Is Mom going to have to go live in a nursing home, which I can't afford because I had to sacrifice my career? Thankfully, and I praise God each day that this happened, but a new nurse was hired. Her name is Cara, and she's just an angel. She started coming to the house, and she started educating me on what I needed to do to be a more effective caregiver, and she started helping Mom out more than Brittany ever taught me how to do. And I mean, I love Brittany, but Cara is even more amazing. And then in July, Mom started to get really pale, and then she fainted while Cara was here, and so we had to take her back to the emergency room. And the bleeding had started up again, so they immediately took Mom off the blood thinner that she was on because they said that her risk for bleeding out was much too great. And they did another CAT scan, and she still has anemia, but the cancer that they said that she had, because she was diagnosed with adenocarcinoma, the cancer hadn't moved. It hadn't grown, it hadn't changed, it hadn't spread. It was still in the exact same spot it was in when they diagnosed her Christmas prior. And they also said that there was a mark on her kidney that had not changed or grown or shrunk or moved or anything from when she was in the hospital 3 years ago. And it made me seriously question the competency of the medical professionals at the hospital. And there was a saying that my grandma and my great aunt used to say, that they're not medical experts, they're medical practitioners, because they're just practicing medicine. They're not experts in their field. And that's something my grandma and my great aunt used to say all the time. And now that this happened, first she gets a cancer diagnosis, and then 6 months later she's back in the hospital, and another CAT scan is done, and more tests are done, and the cancer hasn't moved in 6 months. And the doctors told me that she probably has had the cancer for like the last 12 or 10 or 12 years. But if that was the case, why is it still only 3 millimeters big and not moving, not spreading, not growing, not changing, not doing anything? It's just there. That didn't make any sense to me, because everything that I have ever known or ever learned about cancer is that once it begins, it grows and it spreads, and it's like a vicious, rapid, yucky disease. And yet they said Mom has something on her kidney, they said that probably is what caused the cancer. And then they did some blood work and they said that she had like a blood defect, like a genetic blood defect. It's, if I remember correctly, it's microdysplasia thalassemia or something. I don't remember. It's like MDST or whatever. I don't remember the exact terminology. And I was talking to one of my other friends who was studying medicine in college, and he's like, well, that sounds like a problem with a chromosome, and he thinks it was a problem with chromosome 17 or chromosome 19. That is what encodes the bone marrow to make blood cells, and he doesn't know what the problem is. And I went and got blood tested after my mom got diagnosed with a genetic blood condition, and my sister got tested, and both tests came back positive, so I have a genetic blood defect. Yay, hooray. And so the doctors told me that I'm at risk for pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, lung cancer, liver cancer, the whole shebang, because of this genetic blood defect. And like I said, when they did the CT scan on mom in July and nothing had happened, nothing had changed, everything was as it was, it's just she's anemic. Like I said, it seriously made me question the competency of the, quote, medical professionals. And then in August of last year, so like the first 6 months of the year, mom was back on home health. I was at home being her caregiver. It was basically the status quo. Court was done. I didn't have to deal with that anymore, but my days were spent. I wake up, I help mom, I help her get dressed, I make food for her. It was just like day in, day out, just no normal caregiver stuff. And then July was in the hospital, and then in August, Hurricane Haley hit Baja California, and then it moved northeast right into Utah, where I live, and it dumped literally almost 2 years worth of rain in just a couple of days. And because of all that water, and the ground was just completely saturated, a 10-foot wide sinkhole opened up in my own driveway, and homeowners insurance wouldn't cover it because the driveway was more than 30 years old, and it was degraded, and it was basically like the asphalt had all degraded and crumbled, and it was all basically down to dirt again. And homeowners insurance wouldn't cover it, even though we had improved it 30 plus years ago and my grandma was still alive. So I had to spend the money that I had been saving up when I was employed as a night auditor. I was able to save up enough money to get my driveway replaced. Let me tell you, it was quite an expense. Basically had to drain my savings account to do it. And they had to come in, and it was twice as much as it normally would have been if the sinkhole wasn't there. But because the sinkhole was there, instead of it costing the original amount that I had estimated out, it was double, almost triple the amount. Because I had the best estimate I had was $19,200, but to totally replace my driveway was $36,000. So nearly double. And it drained everything I had been saving up when I was a night auditor for those few years that I worked at Park Plaza. So we got the driveway replaced, and it's now done in cement. And I couldn't afford to do a heated driveway. I wanted to do a heated driveway so I didn't have to deal with shoveling snow. The most inexpensive investment I had for a heated driveway was like $112,000 plus an additional $10,000 per year for maintenance and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't afford any of that. So I just did it in concrete. So we had to rip the whole driveway up. We had to fill in the sinkhole. We had to compact the ground. I had like they brought in this massive compactor that they use on big construction projects to actually pound the ground with like 50,000 pounds of force per square inch, like this huge thing to pound the ground in to compress it so the sinkhole would be completely gone. That's why it cost so much. And then they put in 8 inches of concrete and leveled it out with the road. They graded it properly. It's a really nice driveway now, but it drained my savings account, my money market account, and my investment account. Because I had only just started building that when I was working as a night auditor at Park Plaza, and they were paying me so much money, and I just started building that stuff up. I had 2 years to save, and I had to spend it all on the driveway because we had to get it fixed. Because when a ginormous sinkhole opens up and you can't even get out of your own driveway because you fall in a hole, and basically, yeah, anyway, it was a big nightmare. So I drained my savings account, replaced the driveway, and then I got really sick. Like I was playing games with one of my friends one night and I could feel just a twinge in the back of my ear. And I knew I was coming down with something, and then I woke up the next day, and this was October. It was October 22nd, so it's right before Halloween. I wake up with tonsillitis, and over the course of 24 hours, it evolved from tonsillitis into laryngitis. And then it got worse and worse, and it plugged up my ears, and my nose wouldn't stop running. And then there was just like this tightness in my chest. I didn't know if I had pneumonia or not. So I went to my regular primary care physician, but because I didn't have an income, I didn't have a job, I had no money, they wouldn't see me. They flat out refused to see me and said I had to go to the ER. So I went to the ER and they ran a myriad of tests, from flu to RSV to HIV to mononucleosis to COVID to pneumonia to bronchitis to lung cancer to throat cancer. They checked for abscesses. They did a whole gamut of tests. I told them at the hospital I didn't have any money. I didn't have any income. I had no job. We just had some major expenses we had to take care of because of the storms we just had. I applied for financial aid with the hospital, and they denied it. So now I have medical bills I can't pay, so they're just going to... I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I have no way to pay my medical bills. It's $7,000. And then I just got another thing in the mail just yesterday that they had processed the stuff from mom's stuff in July, and now there's bills I got to pay for my mom, and I can't afford those. And so over Halloween, going towards Thanksgiving, I was sicker than sick. And so I texted my sister and said, what do I do with this? And she said, well, you need to take this medicine. Go to the store, get as much as you can. So I had to wait for mom's Social Security check to come in. And I spent enough funds to get the medicine I needed. I got myself better. And I started recording videos again, and I recorded one video, and then bam, it was right back. So that's why I haven't had any video uploads for the last many months. Like one video here, one video there. It's not like what I normally like to do. And I've just been completely sick over the holidays, and this has been the worst holiday season I've ever had. I didn't want to put a Christmas tree up because of how I was feeling. I asked the local bishop for help, and he's like, I can give you help with therapy. So I started seeing a therapist, but like he couldn't help me with my other bills or anything. He just said, I'll offer you a therapist. I'll pay for your therapy. So I've been seeing a therapist, and she is just incredible. She's been using a technique called... It's EMDR. It's electric eye movement desensitization regiment. I think that's what it's called, but it's EMDR. And she told me that I should start journaling and listen to music while I journal, which, I mean, that's what I normally do when I'm working on special projects, whether writing in my journal or making my Christmas presents or just doing whatever. If I'm not playing games and I'm on my computer doing stuff, I'm always listening to music. So I started writing in my journal and creating and like working on that again, and it's been phenomenal how much she's helped me. I can talk about Adam, I can talk about Charlie, I can talk about Jason and Eric and everybody who are all passed away and all dead, and it doesn't make me inconsolable anymore. So I mean, my therapist is simply amazing. But yeah, over the holidays has just been, I've been sicker than sick. I haven't been able to talk hardly at all. You can probably hear how scratchy my voice is. And here we are in the new year. It's 2024 now. And I don't know what this year is going to bring. I'm still my mom's caregiver. The nurse, Cara, comes to the house twice a week. And the only time I have for myself is late at night. So I've been running on maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep per day, and I am just a giant mess. Being a caregiver is hands down, bar none, the hardest thing I have ever had to do. And if I had known it was going to be this hard going into it, almost 3 years ago now, when the judge told me, if you'll sacrifice your career and stay home and take care of your mom, I won't forcibly put her into a nursing home. If I had known then what I know now, maybe I would have said something different. I don't know. But being a caregiver is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And for those of you out there listening to this who either have gone through what I'm going through, taking care of an elderly parent who's dealing with dementia, who's senile, who supposedly has cancer, but I can't corroborate it because it's not doing anything. It's just there. It's not moving. It's not changing. It's not growing. It's not spreading. It's just there. But her mind is going. Her mind is basically gone. She can't remember anything. She talks to herself. It's nonsensical. And she's in this phase now that the nurse has said that she's in her anger phase, because she knows that her mind is going and she wants to be herself, but she can't, and she's angry about it. And she says she'll eventually settle into a place where it'll be fine. But right now we're going through the angry phase, and it's really hard watching my mom decline. It's really hard. And knowing that there's nothing I can do to fix it. And that hurts. And I feel, it's like I'm not used to feeling helpless. I'm used to seeing a problem, finding the solution, and fixing it. And I can't do that with this. So for those of you out there who are caregivers, who either have cared for an elderly parent or who are currently caring for an elderly parent, know that I feel for you. I know how hard it is. I know how much it hurts. I know how much it's draining on the soul, not just on your physical energy and ability to do stuff. It's soul crushing. It's just draining on every level. And yes, I want to record videos again. I just don't know when I will have time to do it. Like I said, the only free time I have and time that I get to myself is late at night. Like right now, it's 10 minutes to 3 o'clock in the morning as I record this video, because it's the only time I have to myself. And when I get done with this video, I'm probably going to go to bed and sleep until about 7 or 8, and then I've got to get mom up and get her fed and get her dressed, and it's just hard. So yeah, I want to record more videos, and there's like, the only game I have on pre-order right now is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that comes out on Leap Year Day next month on the 29th of February. And like, I got Final Fantasy 16 last year when it came out, and I played all the way up to the first hideaway, and I haven't gone any farther than that. I have Baldur's Gate 3, but I haven't even touched it. It's installed on my PlayStation, but I haven't even opened it and played 1 minute of it, or even a second of it. It's just there. And I've been playing WoW mostly. And there was something happened in PSO where I was chatting with people on the Discord server, and they were giving me all kinds of hell because I knew things that they didn't know, and I had picture proof and I had evidence supporting what I was saying, which was contradicting what they were saying was true. And I was like, no, it's not. Here's picture proof. Here's evidence of it. And then just a few days ago, friends who I thought were my friends sends me a text message over Discord saying, I can't be your friend anymore because my boyfriend doesn't like you. And before I could even respond to that, I had been blocked. They had left the server. They had told other people that they knew me about it, and all of them unfriended me, blocked me, sent me similar messages. We can't be your friends because our other friends don't like you. And so any kind of social interaction that I had even in the online space, or just talking to someone over Discord, which is more like a phone call, gone. So I am now firmly entrenched in square one with really no way out. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to go see. My IRL bestest friend, I haven't heard from him in months. I went down to his house to do a wellness check, and he told me to go away. So what am I supposed to do with that? Like, my bestest friend is blowing me off. It's a horrible, horrible thing to say, but it's like, with friends like these, who the hell needs enemies? That's what it feels like. I have no social network. I have no one to confide in, no one to talk to. It's lonely. Absolutely lonely. Yeah, like, what a way to start a brand new year, being totally ostracized and cut off from the only social connections I had. Yeah, it totally sucks. I get it. It totally sucks. So yeah, 2023, not a banner year. Not a banner year at all. So I don't know when a new video will be released. I don't know when I'll have time to record new stuff. I don't know when I'll be able to play PSO again. It's just like the desire to play that game and continue that story it's not there. I got myself a PlayStation Portal for Christmas, and I used it for like 5 minutes, and then I put it in a case that I got for it, and it's sitting over there on my shelf, and I haven't touched it, and I don't want to touch it. So this has been my update for 2024 and a recap of what happened in 2023, and it has not been a fun year. And I look at what's going on in the world today. A thing came through my news feed that Iran has promised that Israel will be completely destroyed and wiped off the face of the earth. And we are living in very interesting times now. The U.S. just sent warships to the Red Sea, and were fighting off pirates that were trying to attack their vessels, and they're there to support Israel, but Iran proxies are attacking our fleet in the Red Sea, and we are living in very perilous, very interesting times. But the scriptures tell us that we need not fear, and those of us that believe in Lord Jesus will be okay. And I am a devout Christian, always have been. Well, not always, but ever since I had my encounter with the Lord, I have been his follower. So I'm not fearing, I'm just saying that we're living in very, very perilous times and very interesting times. And I honestly believe that this world is swiftly coming to its conclusion. So I'm just going to watch and wait and see what happens. And I will try to record videos as I can. I might go back to World of Warcraft and make WoW videos. I did a cool little quest yesterday that got me a cool reward, and I want to share that with you. Again, I need the motivation to record videos. This is the first time in almost a month that I have felt like recording a video, and it's a brand new year, so I'm like, fine, update for 2024. But yeah, a day in the life of me is I get a few hours of sleep from about 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then I got to get mom up, and I got to take care of my mom all day long. And I got to help her eat her meals, I got to help feed her, and I got to help bathe her, and I got to help do all this stuff. And I don't have any time for myself except at night when I put her to bed, but before I go to bed, which is a precious few hours to myself. And then I don't get hardly any sleep, and then I got to be back up. And it just day after day after day, that's what my life is now. So I'm sorry that this update isn't as happy-go-lucky as it used to be, like it was last year when I was all, hey, gung-ho, let's have some fun this year. I'm not so sure about this one. But anyway, that's my update for 2024. And for those of you of my subscribers who have stuck around with me through this whole journey, I want to thank you so very much. And I hope to chat with you all sooner rather than later. But until then, I'm Z, signing off.